Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Pitch Talk.
We are fans of football dropping vlogs, videos and podcasts on the beautiful game.
Check out our videos on YouTube and Instagram's IGTV,
including special feature segments,
5 minutes with the G,
the straight shooting view,
coaching with JBK. We produce, record and edit video content
and audio on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts,
Verbal, Podomatic,
Anchor,
Spotify
and other podcast platforms.
Join the Pitch Talk revolution on Twitter, Instagram,
Facebook
and www.pitch-talk.com.
The pitch is where we eat.
The pitch is where we sleep.
And the pitch is where we talk.
I can see you now. I can see you now and then. I can see you now.
Welcome to
Coaching with JBK. Welcome. It's yours truly, JBK. It's the host with the most, coming to you with another roundup of the WSL weekend. Not only that, we've also got the championship weekend, but we're going to start off with a game that happened on Thursday, the 10th of March. We're going to roll it through all the way up until, at the time of this recording, to Wednesday, the 16th of March. So, looking at this, the first game of a pivotal few weeks in the WSL, starting with West Ham United 1, Chelsea 4. Chelsea got started in the 21st minute with Pernilla Harder scoring her first of two, and then Niamh Charles getting her goal in the 24th minute before Harder got her goal in the 32nd minute. There was a reply from Brynjarsdóttir to make it 3-1, but Kerr rounded off the results to make sure that Chelsea are still in the hunt for a Premier League or Super League title win. We move on, and the game on Saturday the 12th of March, it was Reading 1, Manchester United 3. So in this game, it was more about Manchester United just making sure that they stay with the pace at the top of the league. And by all means, they have done so as best as they can. But at the same time, it's not as easy because they do have teams just in front of them looking to gain points. And with Manchester City coming through, steamrolling, as I expected that they would do, you know what's coming. So with Reading, it was Reading 1, Manchester United 3. First goal coming from Galton in the 5th minute. And then a reply from Rose in the 16th to make it 1-1 before Galton scored in the 25th minute. And then Russo rounded it off after some controversy with the third goal where it came off the bar, went in. And if we're talking about VAR, now would probably be the best time to actually look into probably having it for next season, because the ball literally bounced into the goal, came back out, and luckily enough, Russo was ready to take on another goal for her tally. That was the end of the scoring, but Manchester United get all 3 points. Reading losing another game. Hopefully they can turn it around so that they don't get stuck into the relegation battle going forward. They are mid-table, but guess what? You could always be part of the relegation battle too. We move on. We do move on. Everton 3, Leicester City 2. This game, ironically, was played last week at 5:30 in the evening. So this was played at 5:30 in the evening, which was a big game for both teams, where Leicester City and Everton have had a tough time to start off with the season, but Leicester City have found themselves gaining points where needed and making sure that they're moving away from that relegation battle with Birmingham City. However, they are still in a position where they could be relegated. They could be if Birmingham start picking up points. And whilst we're talking about that, Birmingham City will be another game that we come on to, which really you start to think, is it all over for them? So Everton 3, Leicester City 2. Perfield with the first goal for Leicester City, giving them the lead. And then not a goal until the 32nd minute, where Tony Duggan finally got her goal through for Everton to equalise. Anvegard then got her goal to make it 2-1 to Everton, Tierney with a goal in the 44th minute, and then Anvegard with a goal just after half-time, 6 minutes after half-time, to give Everton the win. So, you know that these games are coming thick and fast. There is a bit of a break, but you know what? There's going to be games still coming through that Everton need to win in order to make sure that they do not finish below their opponents from that current game. We move on. Spurs, Tottenham Hotspurs 0, Manchester City 1. This is not much of a surprise, but if you look at the way that Manchester City started the season and the result that came with it, with Spurs beating Manchester City away from home, it's sort of a surprise, but it's not if you've seen the results of, well, basically since February, that Manchester City have been bringing back first team players, got a load of injuries in the first half of the season, managing to bring all of them back, and now they're reaping the rewards with a cup triumph, with points on the board, with a chance to even challenge for the top 2 places and possibly end up finishing in a Champions League spot. Remember, it's 3 places for a Champions League spot, and this would be helpful to Manchester City with the goal, especially with Spurs trying to get that Champions League spot as well. And the single goal, coming in from Caroline Weir. Weir with the goal in the 64th minute. It was just basically bundled in, as it was a tough game for Manchester City to break down Spurs' defence, but at the same time, they did have chances either side. They had hit the woodwork. Ellie Roebuck coming off in that game as well. But at the same time, you know what? There's a lot to still go for both teams, and hopefully, it's going to be a battle for all three places. So we move on for sure. Next game. Chelsea 1, Aston Villa 0, and this really was the game that sorted Chelsea's real chances of winning the league again. If they hadn't have won this, you don't know where they would have got to in the next games. They would have really needed to pile on the pressure within the next few games. So they've won 2 of the games in hand so far, and now they've got another game in hand which could see them go above Arsenal at the same time. But it's a tricky one because they've still got big games to come as well. So Chelsea 1, Aston Villa 0. The single most important goal right now of Chelsea's entire season, in my opinion, has come from Sam Kerr in the 92nd minute. And what people remember is more about the celebration than the goal itself. It wasn't a worldie. It was just one of those hit and hope from a long distance. Aston Villa had basically helped themselves to a point, making sure that they really put the work in to make sure that Chelsea couldn't break them down. And then all of a sudden, the one time that they switch off, Chelsea go and win the game. Sam Kerr getting, in my opinion, the most important goal of Chelsea's season so far. And why I say that? Because of everything that, if you have been watching football, you know exactly what's been happening with not just Chelsea women, but also Chelsea Football Club as a whole. And yeah, just building upon that and just making sure that everybody recognises that this has been a tough season for Chelsea FC. So well done Sam Kerr, well done Chelsea Football Club for getting that result. Tough on Aston Villa for the result that they got. And it's just one of those where you just got to put your chances away as best as possible going forward. Not to say that they had many, but just try and put them away as best as possible. We move on. And our next game is Birmingham City 0, West Ham United 1. So this is where Birmingham City coming up is massive. Any game that Birmingham City now play, they've got to go and win. They've had time to draw, but now they're a lot of points away from, and I'm not going to say how many points because I really want the table to be shown going forward graphically, where Birmingham City are at the bottom of the table, but they are so far off the next place of Leicester City. so far off 11th place Leicester City that they now need to go and get some points on the board and just wins. It doesn't matter how they get them, even if it's a 1-0 win, they just need to have wins. They can't have anything else. It is almost out of their hands to either stay in the league, but they need to get those wins as soon as possible. Goal coming from Leon, where she got a goal in the 41st minute, the only goal of the game. Birmingham City, unfortunately, going down to a goal in the first half and not being able to bring it back in the second. They had chances, but at the same time, there were no goals, unfortunately, for Birmingham City. And that's the result at the moment. They haven't been able to stop the goals going in at one end, as well as making sure that the goals go in at the other end. So they've got to find a way. That result against Arsenal at the start of the year was brilliant, but they haven't been able to add to it, and it's really costing them a lot of points now. So let's see what happens going forward. Hopefully, they find their results going through. Next game, 13th of March, which is Brighton 0, Arsenal 3. Late kickoff this one, 6:45. What a game this was for Arsenal if you're an Arsenal fan. Goals coming in the first half. Stina Blackstenius with her first goal for Arsenal. Well, first goal away from home for Arsenal in the 27th minute. Then Beth Mead in the 34th minute before Blackstenius getting another goal for Arsenal in the 41st minute. Miedema was in that game and she did set up a couple of goals, but at the same time, Blackstenius and Mead getting themselves on the score sheet as best as possible. And that's what you're looking for both teams. You know that they're going to need the points. For Brighton and Hove Albion, they do need to start putting wins back onto the board again. Their fast start in the new year, before the new year was brilliant. It was great, but they haven't really picked up points in 2022, and they really do need to if they're going to look to climb the table rather than stay where they are going into next season. If they can climb the table, you never know. They might really put some burners on teams like Manchester City, like Spurs, like Manchester United, just to show we are still here as a team. We are still here. Moving into the next games. Manchester City 2. As of Wednesday the 16th of March, Manchester City 2, Reading 0. Reading, as I said previously, not getting the results anymore as they were before. Picked up very big wins between November and January, but now all of a sudden from February onwards they've not really picked up too many wins. They've stopped really scoring as well. They are not as free flowing and their structure is really there, but it's being broken down quite easily against the top sides. Manchester City now on a steamrolling run. Their game finishing 2-0 with Reading basically doing so much of the work in the first half and getting their chances in as well. But still, Manchester City running out with 2 goals in the last 20 minutes of the game. Demi Stokes with the first one, Lauren Hemp with the second, and then finally finishing it off with a 2-0 win. Tough on Reading, but hopefully they can get back onto a winning run just to try and keep themselves in the mid-table zone or push for another European place. You never know. Everton 0, Chelsea 3. This game, then you now start to see the point of where Everton and Chelsea are. Everton in a completely different form to Chelsea. Chelsea managing to get their goals as early as possible and really pushing Arsenal to the title now. Yes, Arsenal and Chelsea have already played each other twice. Yes, Chelsea have already played Everton now twice. It's going to be an interesting one going into the final few games of the season. Who will win the league and at what point the league will be won. That's going to be an interesting one for both Chelsea and Arsenal. The goals coming from Sam Kerr in the 7th minute. From there, the next goal coming from Gura Wrighton in the 15th minute, and Aaron Cuthbert with the final goal in the 29th minute. What a time just to get these goals. And you were just looking forward to seeing where the title ends up by the end of the season. For sure. Let's see what happens and hope for the best on this one. We move on, and we also have West Ham United 1, Manchester United 1. So, on this night, on Wednesday, we had a draw, an away win, and a home win. Perfect hat-trick, if you ask me. What a game this was as well. Manchester United getting their goals, getting the first goal of the game in the second half. Ella Toon with the goal in the 54th minute. And then a 93rd minute equaliser from Fisk made sure that West Ham United shared the points with Manchester United. What a game that is. West Ham making sure that they're in the running for a top 4 place. But they're going to have to start picking up some more points. Hopefully they can this season. And we are moving on. We are moving on because here's the thing. This weekend is FA Cup weekend. If you get a chance to watch the quarterfinals at any point, try and watch the Friday game between Arsenal and Coventry United, and then the remaining 3 games. Ipswich Town against West Ham United. We also have in those games, and I'll just read them out to you. So we got Arsenal against Coventry United. We also have Ipswich Town against West Ham United. We also have Manchester City against Everton. And finally, Chelsea against Birmingham City. So this is the quarterfinal. If you get the chance to watch any games, please do so. They're going to be very lively indeed. Ipswich Town, the lowest ranked team still in the competition. Birmingham City could potentially cause an upset against Chelsea. I'm holding out hope for Everton. But the way that Manchester City have been playing, it has been solid. It has been solid. So maybe they can come back and get those results in the league with a solid performance against Manchester City. Can Everton do it? West Ham United will have the biggest shock of the round if they lose to Ipswich Town. If Coventry United can beat Arsenal, well, you never know what a result that would be for the biggest club going with the problems that they had at the end of 2021. That would be a massive result. Moving it on, and we are going into the Women's Championship here. We're going into the Women's Championship. So, rounding all of these games off, Durham 0, Coventry United 0, Blackburn Rovers 2, Sunderland 1, Charlton Athletic 0, Liverpool 1, Lewis 2, Crystal Palace 0, Sheffield United 2, London City Lionesses 1, Bristol City 3, Watford 1. Big games there, especially on a weekend where all of these are going to be potential deciders, because as of the 20th of March, guess what? We've got some big games coming up. Liverpool against Charlton Athletic. They get to face off against each other one more time. Sheffield United against Sunderland. Watford against London City Lionesses. Watford really need to get some points on the board if they are to stay away from the relegation. Remember what happened to Coventry United, which has put Watford in a very good position right now to stay up. Lewis against Durham, which is the final game of the weekend. See if you get the chance to get to any of them games. For sure, it doesn't have to be this weekend, but, well, it does have to be this weekend. Try and get to a women's game. Please do, because there's going to be some games that you really want to just watch and try and take it all in. For sure. There's some big games coming up in the WSL as well, and you never know what the results are going to be because, wow, if it's a big result, it's important to the table. It's important to the table. Guess what? I'm going to sign off. Yours truly, JBK, is leaving the building. Have a great week. Have a great weekend. Peace. Join the Pitch Talk revolution.
Check out the official Pitch Talk website.
www.pitch-talk.com. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Pitch Talk.
We are fans of football dropping vlogs, videos and podcasts on the beautiful game.
Check out our videos on YouTube and Instagram's IGTV,
including special feature segments,
5 minutes with the G,
the straight shooting view,
coaching with JBK. We produce, record and edit video content
and audio on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts,
Verbal, Podomatic,
Anchor,
Spotify
and other podcast platforms.
Join the Pitch Talk revolution on Twitter, Instagram,
Facebook
and www.pitch-talk.com.
The pitch is where we eat.
The pitch is where we sleep.
And the pitch is where we talk.
I can see you now.